Hello, 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 and today I'm going to go over a blowout card, this meme card that is actually OP that you think it's a joke. No, it's actually a blowout card. And what's a blowout card? A blowout card is like these here, these cards that you've seen that if we allow them to resolve, you pretty much win the game. And these cards have been history, either banned, unbanned, limited, and because they're so powerful if they're allowed to resolve, that they win you the game. Well, there's one such card that's going to leave your opponent looking like this if you let it resolve. Yes, that's Jesse Cotton when Shifter resolved on him, by the way. Blowout card. Here's the backstory to this card. If there's an animal that's in trouble, you call the rescue squad. Yes, that's right. A series of animals with 300 attack, 100 defense that all have very unique and strong, powerful effects on their own. And their lore is they recently rescued an animal here. As you can see, this hedgehog, that's the newest member to their team, and that's the blowout card I'm going to be talking about. Rescue Hedgehog, that's right. What does he do, and why is he a blowout card, and why is nobody using him? Well, because it's very underutilized. We have to really scrutinize its effects. I'm going to show you a bunch of ways how we're going to use this card to win us the games. Now, let's take a look at what he does. You can banish this card you control. Special summon 2 level 3 or lower monsters from your deck with the same type, attribute, and level as each other. It's got to be a normal monster and an effect monster. And the effect monster's effects is negated. It says both of their effects are negated because you might bring out a normal pendulum or something. Also destroy them during the end phase. You can use this effect of Rescue Hedgehog once per turn. Well, let's go into some examples right away. Let's jump right in. How can we use this as a blowout? Well, first let's look at cards that are very strong on their own as normal monsters, right? We got the Sunseed Genius Loci. If you guys don't know, this is a very strong plant card. It does so much. It's also a level 1 plant earth, right? Well, what card can we use that's also a level 1 plant earth? That's right, Ragnarika, the evil seed. Now look at all that effect stuff that it does. Well, remember, the effects are negated, so we can't use Ragnarika evil seed's effects. Or can we? Yes, that's right. We can link them off. Don't forget, the Sunseed can go into his link plays, but also you can go into Ragnarika Skeletal Soldier and then revive the Evil Seed and then go into the Ragnarika stuff. Now you can use the Evil Seed's effects when you revive it off of Skeletal Soldier. So not only now are you going to get a free Ragnarika line, but you also get the free Sun Avalon line. And if you know plants end up on these crazy end boards that look like there's something like this. This is an average plant end board. Plant end boards can do the craziest things. There are so many lines and combos that we can go over with plant lines. It would take hours for me to discuss this, and I've got a lot to cover with Rescue Hedgehog. But if you want to see some plant lines, I've got this guide right here from Usuis here, who went through and showed you, right, as you see this right here. That's from his guide. So take a look at that if you feel you want to look at some plant lines, because Rescue Hedgehog can do a lot more than just help plants. That's right. There is so much this underutilized card can do. And we saw what it can do in plants. What about some other archetype? How about machines, right? Take a look at this Genex controller. Very strong. This is a machine dark level 3. The master and power of all elements, it says. This is one of the few Genex monsters that can communicate with its companions. Well, what's another level 3 dark machine we can use? Well, how about another Genex Ally Birdman? If you don't know, this card was very strong, limited in a lot of formats. I believe it was banned at once too because it was very strong, was involved in some OTK combos. But anyways, take a look at this card. Remember, its effects are negated when we special summon off of Rescue Hedgehog, but there's a fairly new Genex card here. Look at this. If we special summon this card off of the Birdman, remember, level 4 lower Genex, now that Birdman's in the graveyard, if this card is link summoned, you can add that Genex monster from your graveyard to your hand, get the Birdman back, and now you can start doing the combos. Because remember, if this card, you could return a card you control to the hand, special summon this card from your hand, right? So return one of your monsters to the hand, and anyways, off to the races because we have this Genex controller. And by the way, now if a Genex monster is added to your hand, you can, immediately after this resolves, normal summon a Genex monster, and it's like going to create this trickle-down, crazy cascading effect because we have so many Genexes. Now, Genexes is a very, just like plants, creates these crazy end boards, and again, there's like multiple guides and stuff, these very complicated guides, and I'd be here all day to explain it. But so if you want some Genex guides here, Here's a simple Genex card here made by the Holy Giraffe here. So take a look at his guide down in Reddit too. Very, very interesting. What else can we do? Remember, how about not some crazy combos? What about if we could do something spooky? Yes, that's right. Let's look at Skull Servant here, a skeletal ghost that isn't that strong, but can mean trouble in large numbers. What can we do with that? Well, level 1, Dark Zombie. Here we go. White Baking. I always have trouble saying that. This is a great card in its deck in itself. Look at this. If this card goes to the graveyard, right? If this card's sent to the graveyard, remember, because we can't use the effects, but when we send it to the graveyard, we can use the effects. And that's how we're cheating out and getting out a lot of advantage when we overall shouldn't. If this card's sent to the graveyard, you can add 2 monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, except White Baking, that are either Skull Servant or Mention It. Then discard a card. Now that's great, 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 great in Skull Servant decks. Now, how about this? Let's just say you don't want to use Skull Servant, right? Here's a more practical use for more rogue decks or more tier 3, tier 2 zombie decks here. Send this card to the graveyard, right? There's a lot of level 1 Link monsters we could do. Send this card to the graveyard. You could banish this card to the graveyard once you send it there. Add a level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand. Now, zombies have a lot of great level 5 or higher zombie monsters. Take a look at that. Eldritch, Doom King. These guys are the premier zombie boss monsters. And if you don't know what they do, well, their effects are on screen. You can read it there. I'm not going to go into all the cool things zombies can do. Or even if you want to play some super rogue stuff, you can add something like Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth. That's really good in the Gate Guardian decks, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. Really good zombie support, Gate Guardian support even, that Rescue Hedgehog can facilitate. Very, very interesting. How about something else? Well, since we're on the topic of spooky, I got a nice treat for you, right? Here's a little gift. Hollow is a level 3 Dark Fiend. Well, let's look at some level 3 Dark Fiends we could bring out with the Hedgehog. The first one is Sangan. Sangan, by the way, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, we're adding a monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. Now, there's over 10k cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. So, to analyze all the cards that Sangan can give you is incredibly hard. So, I'm not going to do that right now. But I just want to show you that a lot of the premier hand traps, banned, unbanned, as of this day, are under that allotted amount. So if you're playing MasterDuel or something like that, you can add a maxi. But here's a lot of cool stuff. You can get hand traps with it, right? If you got your combo plays already. Because there's just so many cards that Sangan can add. Sangan's just a critical card. A very textbook old card. But how about if we want to go for some other level 3 Dark Fiends? Well, Edge Imp Cyberse, the Evil Eye here, and even Doom Dog Octhros. Look at these. So if you guys don't know about Edge Imp Cyberse, these are these nice little scissors here. This is basically a good link climbing thing, because now you get 2, you can link climb to 2, and now this card's in your graveyard, you can link climb again, so you can get to a link 3 with that. Same thing with the Beatrice Familiar, does another similar thing that helps you link climb if you're playing the Evil Eye decks. Another interesting card here that's hiding on me here, Doom Dog Octhros. Now, what can this cool dog do here? If this card's sent from the field to the graveyard, we're adding level 8 Fiend monster from our deck to the hand. What are some good level 8 Fiend monsters? Well, we milled our deck a little bit with the Hedgehog, so Punk now is a very good engine because we can now use Punk and get Punk play started, and they themselves have their own Pot of Greed archetype. And we also can get a Labyrinth or a Lava Golem. Lava Golem, by the way, is a good go second board breaker. You tribute 2 of your own opponent's monsters, but we won't be able to use Lava Golem this turn because, remember, we probably normal summoned the Rescue Hedgehog. But if you are playing some kind of board breaker deck and you did special summon Hedgehog, Lava Golem's a good card to add there. Or it could just be supporting maybe this Labyrinth in the middle here. If you wanted some more normal summons to facilitate the Labyrinth, there you go. There's another way to get some Labyrinth play starters. By the way, the Labyrinth Chandraglier, I should say, is also a level 3 Fiend, Dark Fiend. So let's just say you already had the Lady Labyrinth, you didn't have to go the Doom Dog way, you could just get it out that way. And then you have a chandelier in your graveyard, and now you got a furniture, and because the furniture's in your graveyard, you can start generating advantage when you do your trap stuff that way. Interesting, interesting. Always good to keep options open. What else can this Fiend do? A level 3 Fiend. I have something very crazy. Don't tell Farfa about this one. We're going to keep this secret between us, because that's right. I'm saying Farfa because this is Burning Abyss. He loves that kind of archetype here. Here's something very, very interesting. This card right here can't be used normally, because if you control a monster that is not Burning Abyss, destroy this card. But remember, his effects are negated when we use the Hedgehog. So we can have both of these cards out. If we're using the Rescue Hedgehog, bring out both of these cards, and if this card is sent from the graveyard, we can special summon a Burning Abyss monster from our deck. Any Burning Abyss monster we are. So if we're playing Burning Abyss, it's a great, great card. And then also, these two are level 3s. So what does that mean? What does level 3s mean? Well, it means we can overlay them into another Burning Abyss card, right? We could detach the material from this card, right? So detach that card that has that really cool graveyard effect. Special summon a Burning Abyss card. You have a Burning Abyss card. And also this lets you mill 3 of your own Burning Abyss cards. And then if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can get a Burning Abyss card, add it to your hand. So much advantage you're generating. And this is such a great tool if you're playing Burning Abyss to get your plays just getting infinite advantage almost. It's crazy how much advantage that gives if the Rescue Hedgehog resolves. Again, remember, it's got to resolve, though. There's always ways to block it, right? In perm, all that stuff. So the Hedgehog's not immune, but again, it's like a lot of normal summons. If the resolve is powerful, Hedgehog is insanely powerful. And speaking of which, here are just some other level 3 XYZ cards I do want to highlight because they're just strong in their own right? Like these two right here are just monster negates, or they'll change your card into a monster negate. And the Saber Invoker is just a search for, you know, either Earth Warrior, Beast Warrior. I'm just bringing this up because very, very interesting to know that the options are almost unlimited, right? I'm just trying to show you all the different options this card can do. Very, very cool. Now, what do we got here? What's this? How about an ancestral species found in electronic space? No one knows how much information it holds. Yes, that's right. This is Proton, a Earth Cyberse, level 1 Earth Cyberse. And this card can bring out none other than the great and mighty Dotscaper. Now, for those of you that don't know the power of Dotscaper, when this card's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it. Dotscaper on its own facilitates so many deadly combos. This is a 1-card combo that I'm very familiar with in MasterDuel that can get you this Firewall Dragon, this Neo Tempest Terahertz, which can send this card to the graveyard. So if you're going turn 1, if you're playing, this card turn 1 can essentially give you a spell and trap negate. Also, if you're going second, what can it do? Well, it can get you Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker, by the way, can be made with this update jammer to OTK your opponents. So if we're playing Dotscaper, you essentially have a turn 1 spell and trap negate, or if you're going second, you can facilitate an OTK combo. Because the way Cyberses work and they have so many extenders, a 1-card Dotscaper, there is 1-card combos to get you this. And remember, you have that Proton there that can also facilitate plays. Turn it into a Link Spider or something if you need to. Speaking of spiders, or I should say toads, that is Slime Toad. A toad with the head of a frog. It attacks by croaking terribly. Very, very interesting. For all of you OG Yu-Gi-Oh! Players will know him as Frog the Jam. That's right. This card can bring out Mirror Mage of the Ice Barrier. Now remember, its effects are negated. Where it says you contribute another effect monster special summon. All of these Ice Barrier things. The important thing to know is that if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can add an Ice Barrier card that is banished or in your deck to your hand. So, by the way, if it wasn't negated, let's just say you can always make your normal cards in general into a Link Spider. That's one normal monster, just to let you know. But we can't use that effect. What are we gonna do? It's also a tuner, so we could tune it into something like this Morphtronic Earphon, right? That will trigger the Ice Barrier to add a Ice Barrier card, right? And now you can special summon it back, send the Earphon to the graveyard, and get your plays rolling. I chose Earphon as the example to show you because it has a nice little graveyard effect, because Ice Barriers will go into these deadly Synchro monsters. And by the way, you could target your Synchro monster at the end of doing the Ice Barrier plays and equip it from the graveyard to it. And what this card basically lets you do is lets you do 2 attacks on monsters during each battle's phase. And it's nice, and it'll hang out in the graveyard. You can always use it on your Synchro monsters. So it's a nice little bonus that you're getting now too. Very, very cool. And it has some other cool too. If this card's special summoned, you could target a face-up monster on the field, treat it as a tuner, so you could target itself. Maybe you want to go Synchro climbing up anyways. A lot of cool, interesting stuff that you could do with that. I just chose that one. There's another of other cards we can go into that I'll talk about later. But also, Slime Toad. Look at these little drops on the field here. You can go with Prank Kids Dropsies. That's also a level 2 Water Aqua card. That's right. This card now, as you know, goes into Totally Awesome in the TCG. This is a TCG special. But I'm not just saying just go with those two, go into Totally Awesome, because Prank Kids, if you know, Prank Kids can do all of their Prank Kids plays and then end on a Prank Kid as well. So you can go into Prank Kids, go into Meow Moo, go into all your Prank Kids plays, and then come back, drop the Dropsies back on, and then go into Totally Awesome. That's a TCG special. If MasterDuel releases it, then you can do this at MasterDuel. Remember, it's 2 level 2s. You could do so much with that, or you could just make it into a Link monster. The options are endless. Speaking of endless options, how about the Wretched Ghost of the Attic here? It's a harmless monster found lurking in just any attic. So what can we do with this? What is a really good level 2 Fiend Dark that we can add? Well, interesting, if you know, Mementolian has the level 2 Fiend that this card is made after, but we're not going to go for the Mementolian card there. We're actually going to go, I have 2 other cards to highlight here. Vision Resonator and Capshell. Now, the Vision Resonator, if that card's sent to the graveyard, you can add a spell or trap that mentions the Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck to your hand. Basically, that allows you to go into the Hot Red Dragon line and go do all of that cool stuff. If you add that, right, because you have like tuners and stuff, do a lot of cool stuff that way. And if you choose to not go that, and if you wanted to use a deck that uses Capshell, right, that's a good deck for sprites, because you have 2 2s. Capshell, when it's detached, by the way, will let you add a card from your deck to your hand. So Gigantic Sprite will get you the Sprite Blue, which gets you everything, which gets you like Red or Jet or something like that, or Carrot, whatever you need. And then Capshell's adding you a card, and you're getting a lot of advantage that way in Sprite. So there you go. So that's a way to facilitate Sprite. Very, very cool. These cards are, especially Sprite going first, if that card's allowed to resolve, very, very good blowout, because they set up so many negates, you're probably going to win. How about this card? Komotoko. A massive intelligent spider that traps enemies with its webbing. Ooh, Komotoko. Oh, what is Komotoko gonna do here? It's a level 3 Earth Insect. Now, for those of you insect fans, already know the premier level 3 Earth Insects. And it's Gokipole. Gokipole is the premier level 3 Earth Insect. Now, you're gonna say, Jesse, why are you showing me these level 4 Earth Insects? This is a level 4 here, and this is level 4, right? So you summon Gokipole with this, and I should have had arrows pointing, because I don't want to... You summon Gokipole. Gokipole, when that's sent to the graveyard, you add a level 4 insect monster from your deck to your hand. So that's why I'm showcasing Retaliating Sea and Resonance Insect, because it's like you're adding them to the hand anyways. Even though you can't summon it, you basically can add one of these to the hand. And these 2 cards have deadly effects too. So if that's sent to the graveyard, you can add a 1500 or less attack insect from your deck to your hand. And if this card goes to the field to the graveyard, you can add a level 5 insect. And if it's banished, you can send an insect monster from your graveyard. The combo's endless. And with 2, by the way, insects is all you need. So Gokipole and that normal monster can make this Bee Trooper Armor Horn, right? And then with the Armor Horn, you can either choose to get the Resonance Insect or the Retaliating Sea, and it lets you get another normal summon during the main phase. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon an insect monster. So that's how you're getting a lot of advantage with your insects, and it's starting off your whole insect plays. Remember, a lot of insects are 2-card combo decks. So you can also add Max C, by the way, in MasterDuel with Retaliating Sea, because it is such insect under 1500 attack. Just a little side note, I wanted to put that in there. But that's a blowout card to get your insect deck rolling, and add Max C to the deck too, because you're already on link 3 with this. Very, very good. Very, very powerful. Now, how about this? What is this? Hunter Dragon. What are these? What's this about here? This dragon has taken down countless prey with its sharp fangs. It strikes very quickly, because if it does not strike, it's vulnerable to a counterattack. And that's very good, very good lore, because look at how low of its defense is. 100 defense, but a very, very high attack. So I do like the lore that that card has just brought. But a level 3 Dark Dragon is Red Rose Dragon. Yes, that's right. So, level 3 Dark Dragon, Red Rose. And when that's sent to the graveyard as Synchro material, right? So we're going to go into a Synchro 6. You can special summon a Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck. And then if that's summoned for like a plant, you can get more advantage, blah, 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 blah. Remember, Red Rose Dragon was just recently came off of the ban list. It was on the ban list for TCG. Very, very interesting because it's so powerful. So you go into something like Coral Dragon, which lets you bring out this other Rose Dragon, right? And now you have access to any kind of Synchro 10 that you want. So if you're playing a MasterDuel, that's Baron DeFleur. If you're playing in TCG, you can go into Chang Ying. Very, very good level 10 Synchro monsters that you can go into. Also, you can go into all of the different plant variants. Interestingly enough, too, if this card is used for a Synchro summoning of a monster, you could send a level 4 or higher plant from the deck to the graveyard. So you could do a lot with that. So you're getting a bunch of plant generating plays, too. So very, very powerful. A lot of plants, some high-level plants, like to be in the graveyard too. Very interesting. Also, here's something new. The Materiactor cards just got new support. So here's something we can go into. That Materiactor card, by the way, is also a Dragon Dark level 3. So you go into with these two cards, this new Materiactor card that just came out. This card right here, basically the important effect here is detach a material, special summon a Materiactor monster, or add one of these spell and traps to your hand. It also has this other bonus effect. You can read it if you want. We're going to special summon this guy. When now this guy's special summoned, add a Materiactor card from your deck to your hand. Then you could take a level 3 normal monster from your graveyard. Remember, that normal monster will be in your graveyard because this previous card be detached to material. So you detach the normal monster from him. So when this guy's summoned, you can get a level 3, add it to your hand or special summon it. So now you get that, and add a Materiactor card from deck to your hand. So now you can get this trap right here, which is basically an Omni Negate. This is an Omni Negate here. When a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, add a card attack to your XYZ to your hand, and then negate the activation. And then then you can do some other stuff with that too. So another Omni Negate, and you get additional cards. You'd have 2 level 3s, so you can go into, remember those level 3s I was showing you before, like the Earth Insect, or maybe it's not Earth Insect. You can go into a lot of good level 3 XZs cards that have just generic monster negates in it. Very, very powerful. So that Materia card is so strong. A lot of these cards are tuners. Now, there's so many powerful tuners of the decks that I didn't even go over. You could just do things that way. For example, let's say if you were playing with a Fabled archetype, you could just find the level normal monster, do your own research. So you could just find a non-tunered monster, pick a tunered monster. You can go into the Fabled Unicorn, and if you combo it with something like the Croca Dragon, right, you now can like manipulate your hand and do something like that to make sure that your Fable plays go through, right? These are just some ideas to spark your ideas too, because deck building, don't let me deck build for you. Sometimes I have fun finding stuff myself, so I'm just trying to give you ideas here. Remember, there's a lot of tuners. Herald of the Arc Light is a great synchro card. So just because that you're getting a normal monster and an effect monster, remember, some of these normal monsters are tuners. You could do cool plays this way. So this is an Omni Negate you can make, and it's also got a Floodgate effect attached to it as well. Coral Dragon, again, remember, there's a lot of 3 and 3s. This card has a lot of uses too. If it goes to the graveyard, you could draw a card. You know what I'm saying? It's got effects that way. There's so much stuff you can do. I don't want to deck build for you. I want to enhance your way of thinking, especially when we're using these. Again, this could be a blowout card for you. So, very, very strong. But I want to even give you more and more examples too, because this is such a fun card. One of the funnest cards, I think, and so underutilized. Let's say we sneak in a Moki Moki into our deck, right? An Outcast Angel. What he is thinking, nobody knows at all what he's thinking. Sometimes he gets mad, and that's dreadful. What can we make with him? A level 1 Light Fairy. Well, how about Eva? Eva was, again, banned in MasterDuel for a little bit. If this card is sent to the graveyard, banish up to 2 other Light Fairy monsters from your field or graveyard. We know we're going to have at least 1 guaranteed in Moki Moki. And you can add the same number of level 2 or lower Light Fairy monsters with different names to your hand. What are such cards we can do? By the way, we can get Eva to the graveyard and make this Herald of Mirage Lights. That's how we'll get there. So we'll send both of these in here because we have 2 monsters with the same type and attribute. So these 2 were both the same type and attribute. And then this gives you a Spell and Trap Omni Negate. Send a fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard. Remember, that's going to add you a fairy monster to your hand to the graveyard. Negate it. So great fairy monster here too. And by the way, if you're playing a ritual deck, if this card is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card, add up to 2 ritual monsters or ritual spells from a graveyard to your hand. So really good graveyard support for rituals there. But anyways, let's just say we're using the Eva effect and not going into that. Here are some really good level 2 and lower Light Fairies that we can add. All very potent. And let's say you did go into that Herald. You have a Spell and Trap Negate, right, on that Link monster. You can add this Herald here, which gives you if you have 1 more fairy in your hand, now you have a monster negate as well too. So you basically have an Omni negate for that purposes. The fairies also here, very, very good. You tribute this, you get to add a fairy, you get to special summon a fairy. Low is great in the hand, because if you're playing ritual decks, you're playing the Voiceless Voice, as we know, can use Low as its own tribute. It can be the sole tribute for the Voiceless Voice cards, and then when you special summon your ritual monster, Low will just special summon itself back anyways. Very, very good. Eva's such a strong card, and that's only if you had 1 fairy in the graveyard. If you milled another fairy, was able to banish another one, the plays and advantage you can get is insane. The generation. Very, very strong. But I do want to say, we are having to run, for some of these plays, we're running the normal monster. And that normal monster is a brick. So I do want to go over the odds to draw a brick and a garnet. I go over this a lot. Rescue Ace, for example, uses cards about 5 bricks, but they're like soft garnets, so that's fine. Something like Cyframe Drivers, a hard brick. By the way, this is a 40 card deck. The orange represents a 60 card deck, and that's the odds to draw a garnet or brick. So when we're playing this Rescue Hedgehog, we're throwing in 1 normal monster, which sometimes will be a garnet. But remember, some decks can't even use that normal, like the Rites, the Ragnarika can use the Loci anyways, because the plant deck just uses the Loci. The Genex can use it as just straight up using it to go into the Genex combos. So just that alone, the normal monster might not even be a brick. But remember, blowout cards, running that 1 brick is more often than not useful than not, because you can get your plays off. By the way, if you like this kind of stats and statistics, be sure to like and subscribe and join our Discord too if you want to get your decks evaluated. I love evaluating decks. I love going through and looking through and making our decks better together as a team. We have a Discord full of very, very smart people that have an interest in numbers. So please join, please like and subscribe. And before I leave you with this, I'm going to show you the Rescue Squad theme song. I bet you didn't know they had a theme song, huh? Check it out.
cat on the scene with a heart so pure. Leading the squad, yeah, we got the cure. Rescue rabbit hopping through the brave night. Together we're strong, got the cards in sight. Rescue ferret digging through the deep dirt. Finding new friends when the chips hurt. On this expedition we ain't feeling blue. Got the rescue hamster making dreams come true. Hey, hey, rescue squad, let's unite. Saving the day, we got the might. Rescue Hedgehog, join the team. Together we're living the dream. With paws and claws we break the chains. In this duel we make no complaints. From the shadows we rise as one. Rescuing the world till the battle's won. Spirit wild and teamwork tight. Riding high in the moonlight. In our journey we'll never fall. Bound by friendship we stand tall. Hey, hey, rescue squad, let's unite. Saving the day, we got the might. Rescue Hedgehog, join the team. Together we're living the dream. Win the dream. With paws and claws we break the chains. In this duel we make no complaints. From the shadows we rise as one. Rescuing the world till the battle's won. Hey, hey, rescue squad, let's unite. Saving the day, we got the might. Rescue Hedgehog, join the team. Together we're living the dream. Win the dream. Win the dream. You win the dream.